Hello, welcome back to the response series where I respond and read Yelp reviews, 1 stars. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Just a reminder, 1 out of 50, we get bad reviews. 49 out of 50, we don't get a bad review. So, yeah, we're going to be reading more stuff from the past because no bad reviews in a long time. Okay, let's get started. Today we have a review from Ducky C, Los Angeles, California. 1 star. First off, I just want to start by saying this is not worth it. I came here with 3 friends and got 6 dishes. Okay, first off, if you come with 3 friends, you end up with 8 dishes because you get 2 dishes too. So 4 people, all the proteins and 2 starches. So our menu is broken down into vegetables, starches, and proteins, right? And you're meant to share all of them. Our bill came out to $256 plus surcharge. The surcharge is a credit card fee. It's 3%. So 3% of $256 is like $7.50. I don't think any of the food was really good. Way too oily, dripping of oil on everything, especially the pork belly. Chicken had no taste. Buttermilk chicken itself would be better. It's like they didn't season the chicken or batter, and the sauce takes it over by being too citrus. So I'm going to respond to this part right now. $256 for 4 people. That's okay. He's not saying it was expensive or anything. He got all proteins and 2 starches. So my staff know to specifically suggest, would you guys like some vegetables with your meal or something to balance out your meal? Because if you eat all meat and you're basically eating meat and potatoes, of course it's going to be oily. Like, that's why we don't only recommend it and then we stop. It's like we highly recommend it because we know that pork belly is fatty. We know fried chicken is fatty. So that's why we recommend it. But we can't force people to order vegetables. So that's why if the customer wants it, they get it. Okay, so he got all meat and 2 starches. He says buttermilk chicken itself would be better. It's like they didn't season it, and the sauce is too citrus. Okay, first off, there's no citrus in the sauce. It's adobo, it's vinegar. Okay, going on. He says buttermilk chicken would have been better. It is buttermilk chicken. It's seasoned buttermilk marinated chicken. I guess that's an opinion. Chicken had no taste, but I think our chicken has a lot of taste. Okay, moving on. We came without reservations, yet only 2 other tables were taken up the entire time we were eating. Okay, I'll respond to this part. I looked at the reservation system and I asked the staff because I read this, and then when I went in at the end of the night, I asked my staff, like, "Hey, we got a bad review. Um, talk to me about it. Tell me what happened. Did we do something wrong?" And they said, well, specifically pointing out this part, he said the whole time that he was eating there with his 3 friends, there was only 2 other tables. That's just a flat out lie. At one point, there was 6 other tables. So he's spinning the narrative to make it seem like we're slow. But like if he said, oh, there was only 2 tables, but there was actually 3, okay, then plus minus 1, whatever, you can't count. But to say 6, he's just flat out lying. 6 to 2. That's a 300% variance. All right, let's see. I was laughing a lot that they said they only do reservations. Waiter walked inside the kitchen to ask, came back. I was also worried because he was sweating like crazy for some reason. not shaming that, but yeah, I thought it was just that funny for not so many people seated. Even by the time we left, on one couple came in. So if he's not shaming my staff for sweating, why even mention it? And he says, yeah, I thought it was funny. So I'm not shaming it, but I thought it was funny and I'm telling all of you about it. Kind of hypocritical in my opinion. Anyways, as far as the reservation part, my staff never say we're only reservation. We we highly recommend reservations because, for example, this is what I actually said to him. I said, um, the reason we highly recommend reservations because we don't know what day you want to come in. You just call and you're like, hey, can we come in or can we make reservations? We always recommend making reservations because that means we are specifically prepared for your table. Like if you walk in for 20 people, we're not going to be ready for you. So specifically on this day though, the next day we're fully booked from 5:30 to 8:30. So if he came in, if he walked in at 5:30, we would say we can't take you until 8:15 because that's the next opening. Because if we just free willy took on extra people, there's not enough space for the people who actually did due diligence and reserved, and we can't screw over those people to accommodate walk-ins. So moving on, I definitely wouldn't come back if I'm paying 65 a person. Then you should really up the food game. I recommend trying quality and lowering the quantity. I wish you luck and improve what you need. My friends and I know food and this wasn't it. I thought I was being harsh coming from LA, but no, Hawaii has amazing food everywhere. I'd rather stick to Zippy's. What a waste of $300. Okay, so I gave you most of my opinion already throughout the review, but I'm gonna specifically read. I wrote a really fat paragraph, but I'm gonna specifically read some things that I didn't cover. Um, I covered the part about the vegetables and the chicken. I'd also like to add that you may perceive the price to be high because you don't live in Hawaii and understand the cost of importing everything, compounded with supply chain issues of the past years. So, COVID, prices of gas and labor went up. Everything in Hawaii has to fly here, so it costs more. Hawaii is more expensive than LA. So, $65 here might be equivalent to 40, $50 over there. So he might think we're expensive, but if he went back home and he was paying $100 instead of 65 or whatever it might be, he'll be like, oh, it's cheap here. Anyways, I talked about the reservation thing. I see. Upon speaking to my staff today, while you were here, there were 6 other tables. They also informed me that your table wanted the A5 Wagyu, which was at 13 an ounce, but they said it was too expensive. So clearly they don't know that our Wagyu is really cheap. We price at $13 an ounce. Hawaii prices at 25 or more. The whole world, our Wagyu is cheap. So, and they thought $13 an ounce was expensive. So clearly his perception of price is a little off. Lastly, when I went at the end of the night and mentioned a 3-top walk-in, my entire staff immediately knew who I was talking about because I walked in there and I said like, "Hey, how's it going? Whatever, whatever." We got a 1-star review. It was a 3-top walk-in, and then just collectively the whole staff was like, "Oh, we know what you're talking about." I said, please do not dine at any of my restaurants if you're not going to carry yourself in a respectful manner. If you ask for a cup of ice and receive one, don't sass my staff by air pouring your water with attitude, among other things throughout the night. So basically, my staff said that this table was being a pain in the ass. And they're being sassy and rude and, all those Karen type things. So specifically what I mentioned over here, I wasn't there, but they're just like, oh yeah, they did this, they did this, they did this. And then one of the things was he asked for a cup of ice. So my staff was like, okay. So my staff went to get a cup of ice, and then he was like, here's your cup of ice. And then he was like, oh, grabbed the cup of ice, and then he grabs his water, and he didn't pour it in like this. He went up in the air and he poured it like a waterfall of water down into his cup of ice. Like, oh, you you make me fill my own water, but like, you did he ask for ice in his water? No. Did he ask for ice water? No. He asked for a cup of ice. So my staff gave him a cup of ice. So I think this group of people was just, I don't know why, but they just came in wanting to be salty and rude. Maybe they get a kick out of it. Whatever. That's the review. Comment below, all that good stuff. Subscribe. See you on the next one.